And I guess moving on to just like key advice that you would provide to individuals that are you're interested in the field or moving to Canada, and you like, do you have any advice for individuals? If there's a few key advices you would want to mention to a person moving to
So,
Canada recently, and
so for a person moving to Canada, so a student moving to Canada, I would say come in with an open mind. Like everybody in Canada, like a lot of students I'll see that they'll come to Canada, they'll hide and they'll hang out with certain people, but they won't expand their horizons, become open-minded, hang out with others and get to know folks and really expand their network. Networks take you far. I would say as a student, you come, you try to get to know folks, expand your network, have fun as best as you can. At the same time, don't have too much fun because your parents are paying a lot of money
yeah,
for you to study here. Make sure you're on top of your permits. Don't forget make sure your statuses are in check always. For students, I would say that. For professionals coming into Canada, I would say depending on the region you're coming from, if they're from Pakistan, obviously, the big thing is it's a totally different environment here. The work culture is totally different. So anything you expect, you're not calling anybody sir. There's the culture is totally different. I always tell people that when they come here is to get to know people, reach out on LinkedIn. Don't just ask for a job. Don't just say, hey, here's my resume, give me a job. It's, oh, get to know them. Always talk to people as if you're actually trying to get to know them versus trying to get something from them. Because you can tell. I've had people reach out to me for, they like start talking and then you know that they're just trying to get a job from you. And a lot of times it's very, sometimes it's rude, sometimes it's a little too much. But the folks who actually have gotten to know me and we've connected, I've actually been able to help them a bit more. So I'd say like your networking approach needs to change a little bit. So that's what I would say for folks for that background. Obviously, like leveraging your network's a big thing. A lot of people in Pakistan, you're able to get stuff done. When people say call it a source or a network, it's the same here. Like there, it's just in front of your face. Here, it's under the scenes, and it works the same way. For people, you'll go somewhere. Networking is huge, and I think that it's something that I'd recommend everybody to do.
yeah. I think the issue that a lot of people who are moving here, like I know, like in Canada, like some experiences they don't count as much for some reason. So I never
Yes.
understood the reasoning for that because ultimately you're a professional in Pakistan.
Unfortunately, that's something that annoys me as well. I used to help out with a bit of recruiting at Deloitte. We used to have people come in with 16 years of work experience applying to be analysts at a consulting firm. And I didn't understand that because I know for a fact that if you put an IT consultant of 16 years from Pakistan, India, and then you put me first year analyst, like I would feel weird being at the same level as them because they're not at the same level as me. They have way more experience. Yes, they might need to work on their communication. Communication takes a bit of time and then you adjust.
Yeah.
It's not like a big blocker, I would say. I think companies also need to change their approach to it because we, at the end of the day, we move things offshore. We use these resources offshore because it's cheaper and we get stuff done.
Exactly.
But if we're using their expertise, we should also be open here to be able to bring them in and use their expertise. I know we were talking about professionals, but there's also like doctors and things like that in
Mhm.
Canada. You'll meet a doctor in Uber and they're going to be like, hey, I can't work here, but they were a
Yeah.
cardiac surgeon in like Pakistan, right? I think there just needs to be better guardrails on the government level to fix that. But
Right.
as far as like people coming in from Pakistan right now or like for studies and things like that, I would say right now, like current state, Canada's a bit difficult, right? Housing is expensive, healthcare is
Rent,
a bit of a
everything.
mess,
Yeah.
everything's crazy. I would say really understand why you're coming here, because if you come with a escapism mentality, then you're going to really struggle because things are not easy here.
Right.
I always say that I'm lucky. I'm lucky, alhamdulillah. Like for me, I came at a time where I came as a student, so I was able to set those foundations and work my way up. But it's harder for people who have established careers or who come here because you have to basically start from scratch. And that's where like networks, opportunities obviously pop up all the time. And sometimes even being willing to work, go down to go back up. I've had a few people who've done that where they've come in, gone a level down, but then they've accelerated up from there. There's also certifications and things like that. I would say that you could like students and workers can do. Look for internationally recognized certifications, not just a PMP. Everybody does a PMP, but there might, depending on the field, if you're, for example, in cybersecurity, or if you're working in the banking system, if you're looking at anti-money laundering or something, look at certifications and try to do them beforehand. Get a bit of experience from outside because that actually helps. A lot of folks come here thinking they'll get experience, and you could get experience here, but your experience of where you come from also does have an impact depending on who your employer is. So yeah, just get your experience, get your certifications, and then try to look for a job.